Hello, welcome to this Yin Yoga to Restorative Yoga Christmas Eve slash Hanukkah Eve class. So at the time of this class and its recording, Christmas Day and Hanukkah are on the same day this year. So this is going to be Christmas and Hanukkah themed. And it's doable because both holidays have the same underlying themes, the peace, love, joy, all the things. So it's just a wonderful blending together. So for today's practice, we will be 100% on the floor. And prop wise, I'm going to recommend a nice sturdy cushion, maybe a bolster if you've got one. You could also do this with pillows. You may want more than one pillow, just kind of depending. We're actually going to start in a moment with a strap. You can also use a belt like you wear with clothes if you don't have a formal strap. A stretchy band will also suffice. And depending on what you have, if you've got a couple yoga blocks, I'm going to encourage you to bring them out. I'll show you different ways that you can prop yourself up. I'm sitting on a folded blanket. I've got a nice blanket that's just kind of folded one way. That's a little base blanket here just to be more comfy, more cozy. And then I've got a couple more blankets over here as well. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So let's come into a little bit of an opening here. And pardon me, with it being that time of year, you may want some water at your mat. So just to come into the opening, find a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. And you can be crisscross applesauce. You can have your legs out to the side. You can have them forward. You can be sitting back on your knees. My hips are a little bit tighter this morning because it's a little bit cold and I haven't moved a lot. It's about 8:30 here. So I'm sitting on a folded blanket to help. Did you find that comfortable seat? Notice your posture for a moment. And you don't have to make it perfect, but could you envision your ears, your shoulders, and your hips in a nice, better alignment while keeping the natural curvature of the spine? And as you find this tall sit, notice if there's anywhere that you could soften just a little bit more in the body. So could that be softening more around the forehead and the eyes, and clenching or softening around the jaw, the shoulders, the hips? And once you're ready, just bring the hands to the heart. And just take it some big breaths here, expanding that rib cage on the inhale. Slowly exhaling. Inhale and expand. Exhaling out. And one more time. Inhale, expand. Let's hold this at the top. And slowly release. You're setting the intentions for the peace, the love, the joy the Christmas and Hanukkah season brings. You can set your intention for anything that you need today. But I will be giving affirmations around this season throughout this practice. And then from here, I will inhale and reach, 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 turning palms away, grow taller from crown to tail as you bring those arms down. And we'll turn the palms up and inhale and reach, 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 reach. And turning the palms away, grow taller from crown to tail, pressing that down. Good. Let's take that one more time. We'll inhale, reach, reach, reach. And we'll get a nice side bend to the left. Shoulders, hips in a nice alignment, reaching, reaching. And then once you're ready, good, we'll come up and reach, and taking it over, breathing and expanding, maybe noticing if you're tighter on one side and maybe the other. And then coming back up, we'll reach, reach, reach. Get a nice rotation to the left. Arms are going to come down, rolling the shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Expanding that rib cage. Good. Coming up, moving through center. The other side, arms coming down, rolling the shoulders back, breathing and expanding. Good. Inhale and lift. Exhale, come to center. Good. So from here, let's go into a little bit of some cat cows, get into the spine. I'm a little bit more looser before we come onto our back for our first round. So you can always cushion your knees here as needed. And you can also do this one on the forearms if being on your wrist is hard. Now, if you've got forearms, I'm going to recommend blocks here, and I'll show you why. Because for one, the block coming onto your forearms take the pressure off the wrist. But if you're on your block, you're not too close to the ground. You still have some space there. So kind of find where you need to be there and take care of yourself. I'm going to be on my hands. I'm going to spread my fingers nice and wide, rooting through the knuckles of the pinky, pointer, and the thumb. Knees are going to be underneath the hips or slightly wider if you've got a cranky low back. My belly button is in. I'm protracted, so I'm pushing the floor away. Inhale, chest comes forward, pelvis tilts back. Nice cow pose. This is your extension. And exhale, round, tucking the tail, looking towards the thighs. Mad cat pose. This is your flexion. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Good. And then once you're ready, good. We're going to take this onto our backs. We're going to use our strap here. And because we're not going to take this into an inversion or anything like that, if you need some support behind your head or neck, go ahead and bring that in. And I'm going to bring in a blanket for myself here on this one, just so that I have a little bit of support back there. So as you come down here, take a moment, taking the feet as wide as your mat, or if you're not practicing on a mat, a little bit wider than hip width apart. And gently let the knees go side to side here. I've got my belly zipped up and in to protect the low back, especially where the SI joint is. And the first affirmation I'll give you here is I allow myself to fully enjoy the little moments in this season. I allow myself to fully enjoy the little moments of this season. So I'm going to take my right foot into the strap. Good. And because this might be the first movement practice of the day for some of you, we'll do this one dynamically. So hold kind of a lower grip on the strap. Your other knee can be bent or extended long, and just get some little circles here. We're just loosening up around the hip, getting that synovial fluid going. Good. Let's go in the other direction. Both hips stay on the floor. Good. And then from here, I'm just going to take this forward, gentle tug, forward, gentle tug, forward, and come in and taking maybe a higher grip here, leaving a micro bend in that knee. The more you point the toes towards the face, the deeper the stretch you'll get down the back of the leg. Just kind of breathe deep here. Eyes can be open or closed. A big breath. And I'm gently going to back off. Both pieces of strap are going to come into the right hand. Both hips, both shoulders are going to stay on the floor as you take your right leg out to the right. And you can kind of wiggle around here and find your best spot. Remember, as we go through this series, we don't want any pain, numbness, tingling, burning. If we can't breathe well, and that those are all signs that we've gone too far, and we want to come breathing and expanding. Stay with intention. Good. And we'll come back up. Good. We're going to switch out the hands. Good. Your left leg's going to come long. Good. We'll arc that over and just kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. Finding your best spot. You can also do this with a more of a bendy knee versus a straighter leg. Just kind of find what works best for you here. And we'll come back up. Good. Now from here, we're going to get that other side. We're just going to come up and do the mid-air switcheroo here. Good. So remember, lower grip to start. Belly button is in, zipping up nice and tight. Start with those nice circles. Good. This is my tighter side usually, so it's starting to feel better already. Good. And reverse directions. Where I will allow myself to enjoy the little movements. This season, we have big moments and little moments. Little moments are just as important as the big ones. Good. And coming up. And so from here, good. We'll just come forward, gentle tug, forward, gentle tug, forward. Good. Bring it in. Good. Find a higher grip. Little micro bend in that knee. The more you point the toes towards the face, the deeper the stretch you'll get. Breathing and expanding. Upper body's always grounded on the knees. And notice if you could relax through the face. I invite the love and joy and peace of this season into my heart. I invite the peace, the love, and joy of this season into my heart. And we'll gently release both pieces of the strap into the left hand. Both hips, both shoulders are going to stay on the floor. Let that left leg come out to the left. Just kind of wiggle around forward and back here. Finding your optimal spot. And be mindful here too. It's not often taught, but if you're bending this knee, try not to let it fall out or fall in. Try to keep it in line with that hip. And when ready, I'm going to come back up. We're going to extend this leg long. Good. Switching up the hands. Now the right hand's going to grab the strap. Good. We're going to arc that leg over. Wiggle around here to find your best spot. Remember, this leg can be long or bent. Long or bent. And when ready, we'll come back up. Good. Remove that foot from the strap. I'm going to put that strap to the side. I'm going to bring my knees in. I'm just going to do a little rock here. Good. And so then when ready, good. Just gently roll over to one side. Doesn't really matter so much what side it is, as long as it feels good to you. Take a moment here if you need to. And then we're going to come up to a seat. Nice and slow and yin and restorative. We don't want to just pop out of things. And then when you're ready, we're going to set up for our next posture. So, and that's going to be a child's pose. And we're going to hold this child's pose for 2 minutes. So if you need to have some knee cushion, I'm going to highly recommend that you bring that in. Another option here, it's a little bit more supportive, a little bit less, or a little bit more restorative. If you want something under the trunk here as a little bit more support, you can bring a bolster, you can stack your blocks under here, and kind of take a child's pose here. If you're not down as far, that's also an option. But I'm going to do it mine a little bit more traditional way. So from here, come to about your 85 to 90% of the pose, not your maximum off to the start. You want to give your body some room to settle in. We'll do this one here for 2 minutes. So knees can be together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. Arms can be long in front of you or hands back by the ankle. And breathing. And expanding. And if anything becomes too difficult or too much at any time, you back off or come out completely. Always coming back to the breath. Remembering the peace, the love, and the joy of the season. Good. So from here, once you're ready, carefully take your hands under the shoulders. And we're just going to gently press out. And it will come up. Good. Now I'm going to counter that a little bit by coming onto the belly and making a recovery pillow here with my hands. And you can just be, or you can rock, rock, rock side to side. Kind of noticing how everything feels. Is hopefully energy is moving a little bit freer. Things feel a little bit less constricted. You can stay here as long as you'd like, but I'm gonna come up out. So I'm gonna take my hands under my shoulders and press myself up to the seat. Okay. So the first restorative / yin pose here is just a wide leg forward fold. And for this one, I'm going to build my block here about like that. And because I don't want to think about my knees having to stay bent or anything, I'm going to take some of these blankets and a couple of these blankets, and I'm going to put my legs underneath them, kind of like where the knee crease is in a moment, and you'll see why. You can just, fold in the way that you need to do that. So I'm going to take my bolster. Bolster is a cushion that's pretty sturdy. And I'm just going to kind of stack them right here, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to come in closer. And then I'm going to take one blanket under one leg and the other blanket under the other leg. Good. And you can also sit up on something as well. And maybe I'm going to take another blanket here. Just as a little bit of a pillow option. Don't have to do it. You can also use that blanket and kind of drape it over yourself um, if that's something that you need or would like. Um, Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm going to make sure I'm really close in here. Go. And then from here, good. I'm just going to kind of fold in and just hug. And we're going to do this one for 3 minutes. Might be helpful if I have it on 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Good. And about halfway through, you can switch your head to the other side. Good. And then you just want to kind of just let your body just settle in as you need to, as it's ready. How about I choose peace and kindness during this busy time? I choose peace and kindness during this busy time. And eyes can be open and closed. Just release to the shoulders. Breathe and expand. And just assessing different areas of the body. Where are you holding? Where can you let go? Where can you soften? And we're not here to figure out the whys. We're just here to let it go. Be supported. Please returning to the breath. Expansive breath. And from here, gently, gently, gently come out of there. Just pause for a moment. So I'm starting to feel calmer as we do these. So I hope you are too. That is our goal. So I'm going to carefully undo my props here. And we're going to go to some side overs. We're going to kind of open up the chest and that heart from the side a little bit here. So if you don't have a bolster, and this is really easy to do, if you've got a couple blocks, you can take some blanket over those blocks just like that. And that'll prop you up just a little bit here. If you've got a longer torso, you might need a little bit more prop there for you to go over. Now, for me, being a smaller person, I have a smaller torso, so I'm going to use my bolster here. And maybe a blanket on top. And then I'm going to actually take a block here and put a blanket over it as a little bit of neck support. And then because that's all lifted, then my shoulder can come through here, and I'll show you why. So then I've got another blanket here just in case. So I'm going to come as close as I can to this prop here, and we're going to be 2 minutes on each side. So I'm going to come over. Good. This bottom arm can come through. Good. My head can rest here. The top arm can always come back here as well. It's a matter of what is comfortable. Now, for my neck, that created a little bit of a, you know what, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to put this under the leg. A little bit more of a kink than what I was looking for. So I'm going to roll this up just a little bit more. And coming over. Oh yes, that's much better. So then we'll be here. I'm going to take this top arm up. For me, this may not be comfortable for you. So you can take it anywhere that is. Maybe this is a better spot for you. Kind of be where you need to be. I like this blanket between the legs here. Just makes it a little bit more comfortable and more supportive feeling. Just gonna take it where you need to take it. Remember, your props are there to support you. Just kind of let everything just kind of. And as we're here, maybe repeat to yourself, I honor my own boundaries and needs this season. I honor my own boundaries and needs this season. Honor the boundaries. It's just as important as everything else that's easy. Breathing, breathing. That top arm carefully comes back to something. Remember, there's never any rush to come out of these poses. And being always nice and slow here. And coming up and just take a moment, kind of receive that little bit of calmness that comes when you come out of one of these poses. And because we're already set up here, we're going to do this to the other side. I'm just going to turn to the other side for the next one so I don't have to move everything over to the other side. So I do apologize that my backside will be to you. But as we come over and begin to get set up, then the next affirmation I'm going to give you is I create cherished memories with those I love. I create cherished memories with those I love. So coming all the way up against the prop, coming down. Good. I'm just kind of finding where you need to go here. Breathing and expanding. Some of those memories might be different family traditions. So my family at Christmas, we do the Christmas pickle. And the pickle gets hidden on the tree, and the first one to find the pickle gets $20. It's $20 because all of my kids are older now and grown. But when they're younger, you can certainly get away with $1 or $5 or something like that. That's smaller. Or even some other little treat that makes them excited. You can do whatever you want with it. You can play other games. The possibilities are really limitless. Breathing and expanding, noticing. Again, you want to always just gently, gently come out from where you're at. Nice and slow. And then when ready, our next one is going to be a back bend. A back bend. Now, I know some of you out there have different issues with back bends, so I'm going to give some different options for different people. So if your body is okay with extension, like just normal extension, and you've got a stack of pillows, a bolster, or some blankets here, then you're free to just kind of come all the way up against that and lie back here and come here. No, because this is more restorative and not active, I'm going to prop my head up back here because I don't want that, to be interfering. And then we can come here. Knees can be bent or extended long. It doesn't really matter. And we're only going to be here for about a minute. So let's kind of be mindful of that. Now, some of you are like, well, I can't do extension. I've got this issue or whatever quite to that degree. Then a lot of what you're going to do is going to depend on the degree of which you can or cannot handle extension of the spine. So some people can take your blanket here and just roll it up a little bit. Okay. And you want the back bend to happen in the thoracic. So you want this to kind of be right along the low rib cage or the bra line, if you will, just enough to just get a little bit of a back bend and nothing super deep like this. And some people, that might even be too much as well, and you need to come down a little bit from that. So that's a way you can get just a little bit of extension without having a really deep back bend. Whatever you're choosing, I'm going to recommend that you also have something under your neck for a little bit of support there as well. Okay, so I'm going to grab that bolster. And just my neck support. And I want to cuddle up just a little bit here. So I want my legs just a little bit more covered. So I'm going to come right there, I think. And I'm going to do bent knees here and take a drink of water. Good. So this is just going to be for 1 minute. 1 minute. And so once you get into place, good. And I recommend too getting your kind of head set up here. You want your shoulders to kind of be able to come through here and be free. And so we're opening up that chest a little bit. As you invite that peace, love and joy of the season, you have to have an open heart to do that. But all of us, I believe all of us, even those that are most open-hearted, have room to open up that heart just a little bit more. A little bit more could you open your heart to this season? Remember, it can be a stressful season, but remember, we cannot expect people to be kind to us if we're running around acting poopy to other people. It's going to be mindful. Kindness is contagious, as well as a nasty attitude. So choose wisely. Choose the peace, choose the joy, choose the love. And then once you're ready, I'm going to gently roll over to my side here. Good. And then very slowly, I'm going to come up. Good. Now just take a moment. Woo, I feel a lot more open in my trunk now. We're going to transition. We're going to start to come into our Shavasana time. But what I want to do before we do that is a supine twist. I'm going to move my bolster out of the way here. I'm going to take this blanket and rebuild up a little bit of a neck support, which is also going to be the same neck support I use for final Shavasana. And then this blanket, I'll refold here. Good. So I'm going to show you a basic supine twist here that you can do with one blanket. And different people are going to be folding their blanket in different ways. And this is going to be 2 minutes, 2 lovely minutes on each side. So as you come here, just kind of come in. I'm just going to start with that nice tabletop position, taking the knees over. Now I'm going to bring this blanket in here. Different people like different thicknesses of this blanket. And so that's just going to kind of be up to you as to where you go with that. And then I'm going to try to really open this up. Now, if I was doing this in a class, I would come in and fill all the gaps with, blankets and whatnot. But I'm just going to be right here for a moment. We'll see if we can be here for 2 minutes. 2 lovely minutes. If you need to come out of something ahead of time, then do so. Each breath, see if you can slow it down. Bringing in peace, love, joy. Again, releasing anywhere you may be holding. So carefully take one leg at a time, coming back to center. Good, maybe adjusting the hips and just be here for a moment, letting everything just kind of reset itself. I like to do a little wiggle wiggle. And then because I know that this hip is a little bit tighter right now, when I go to the other side, I'm just going to readjust that blanket. So I'm going to fold that blanket a little bit thicker this time as I go over there. So from here, I'm just going to take this right through here, over. Good. You can also put this in once you get there. Just kind of find it, read it, breathing and expanding. And releasing and holding. And with breath. When ready, good, very gently, gently take one leg at a time, coming back to center, letting everything kind of reset, maybe a little wiggle wiggle. Before we come into final Shavasana, let's take one knee at a time into the chest and rock, rock, rocking side to side. And then we're going to set up for our final Shavasana. So I'm just going to roll over again on my side very gently and press myself up here. Good, to get props and everything situated. So you want a little pillow here, something like that for head and neck support. I'm going to take my bolster and with that right under here. And I can also do this with a couple blocks. Just remember, with anytime you're putting something under the legs, your tailbone is always on the floor. So you can't deeply relax, especially not for as long as we're going to here, if your tailbone has space under it, if you're hanging in space. So be mindful of that. And then, because your temperature can drop here sometimes, I am going to take a blanket over my body. I want this to be nice and comfy. And before I pull this up over my shoulders, I want a little bit more grounding energy here across the belly. I'm going to take my other blanket and I'm going to use it as like a little bit of a weight and just take this across. Now, some people like the weight across the heart and the belly. They might do it this way. Nothing wrong with that. But for today, I want that grounding to be right along the pelvis. So I'm taking that there. And my friends, we're going to be here for a nice, lovely 5 minutes, 5 minutes. So try to get yourself somewhere where you can settle in. Everything's supported. You're not going to get too cold. And then the last thought that I'm going to give you here is, excuse me, I will carry the spirit of gratitude and giving throughout this next year. I will carry the spirit of gratitude and giving throughout this next year. So I'm going to be silent here for these next 5 minutes. Good. Breathe, think, and let go. Put them here very, very gently. We'll slowly come out of here. We'll gently take the head and neck from side to side. Maybe you start to invite a little bit of wiggle of fingers and toes. And if you had a blanket or pillow across the belly, carefully remove that here. Good. Still under a blanket or not, maybe bending in the knees and taking them into the chest if that feels okay. Then maybe it would feel better if you moved a bolster or some other prop that you had under your legs out of the way, and maybe moving the neck pillow a little bit out of the way and reaching the arms long behind you and legs forward, finding that full body stretch. And then when ready, bend in the knees, gently, carefully rolling over to one side. It doesn't matter what side, the side that works best for you. And then when you feel okay, we'll bring this up, coming to a comfortable seat where we started our practice. And noticing here for a moment, hopefully you're a little bit calmer, a little bit more relaxed. I know that I am. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up, inhale and reach, touching the palms together. As we bring the hands down, we'll stop the thumbs to the forehead for good and true thought, to the lips for good and kind words, and to the hearts for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you give and receive joy with open arms this season. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, whatever it is you believe in, celebrate, make it your best. Namaste.